Here's Guy Wehman, Ben Brunson, and Frank Vernuccio inside the news.
Well, welcome back to our final segment of Inside the News this week. Glad that you have been with us for this program. Tell your neighbors and friends, and if you want to see it on YouTube, go to our YouTube channel, WBV Inside the News. That's the same address on SoundCloud for the audio version of it. And this is typically where we maybe have another topic. We put a bow on the program, but then our guys have a chance for the hot button topics. Ben, I want you to just kind of reflect a little bit on Drew Brees and then the doubling down of Roger Goodell there. But Drew Brees, he just came out to be a patriot and say, hey, my forefathers, my grandfathers and stuff, they were in wars, and I honor the flag.
Well, it's really a sad event that saying that you will always stand for our flag and for how great this country is, what it represents. We live in the greatest country on earth. I would say the greatest country that's ever existed on earth to date. We're far from perfect, but you have to divorce that reality from the issues that we face. We've had civil rights battles that have occurred in this country for a long time, not the least of which being in the Civil War we fought. But there are legitimate issues being debated now, and that's fine. The concept that Drew Brees has to be cowed into apologizing for the fact that he supports our flag and our country is just an abomination. It's going to hurt the NFL. Roger Goodell had this issue behind them. We went through this with Colin Kaepernick's tryout. When you finally had the issue of this whole divisive debate within the NFL behind the NFL, and they invite Kaepernick back in, who turns it into a political statement instead of a serious tryout. We've had that now, and Goodell has come down on the side of being woke, politically woke at this time. It's going to hurt the NFL, frankly.
Yeah. Just a quick comment on that, Frank, before we get to hot buttons.
Well, football continues its move to make itself obsolete. Certainly, from Colin Kaepernick, we saw a dramatic drop in ratings for NFL games. We saw a dramatic drop in enthusiasm for the sport. That continues. What was done to Drew Brees was absolutely unbelievable. Football is committing suicide.
All right, now it's time for our hot button topics. And Ben, down there in the middle of the screen on our YouTube channel, go.
There's so many things to talk about that have gone on in the past week, and probably a new standard for woke pandering, racist pandering. We saw Nancy Pelosi and the Dems put on kente cloths and take a knee in front of the cameras. And I don't know, that left such a bad taste in my mouth. It's so over the top and pandering and racial profiling and everything else. I would hope that will be soundly rejected by virtually everyone in this country and not be repeated.
Okay, now, Ben, your hot button topic. Frank.
I think we have to see several of the stories that made the news in the past week, not as individual stories, but as part of a singular piece. We're not seeing protest. We're not seeing different points of view. What we're seeing is insurrection. When it is considered terrible to respect the American flag, when it is considered more important to allow protest to occupy the streets rather than allow store owners to open up, when we talk about defunding the police, when we talk about cutting funds to the military, when we talk about keeping the borders open to anyone who wants to come over, despite whatever laws we have in this country, take all those factors together. That's an insurrection.
All right, this is our program number 260. This completes 5 full years of us being on the air with you. Thank you so much. Next week, we will begin year number 6. Guys, it's going to be interesting because in about a month's time, we're going to be selling our nation's birthday. We're going to be celebrating that. It'll be interesting to see what happens on July 4th. What do you think about that there, Frank?
Well, if you look at what academia has been pushing and things like the 1619 Project, a totally false narrative of American history, if you look at the clear rejection of American form of government, of American liberties like the First and Second Amendment, clearly there's a battle in this country that's going on. I think the operative date might be less July 4th, 1776 than the Civil War, because America is slowly descending into just that type of period.
Ben, your thoughts on July 4th coming up?
Well, I think Frank said it well. There's still a strong majority of this country that believes in our nation and how great we are. Segment of our society that hates this country and doesn't believe in America anymore. And that has to be arrested, hopefully through education and understanding, and not through any alternative means.
Thank you so much for joining us again this week. We'll join you again next week as we once again go inside the news.
You're listening to Wehman, Brunson, and Vernuccio, Inside the News.